If you've done any research on retirement income, you've probably heard of the bucket strategy. Cash in one bucket, bonds in another, stocks in a third. It sounds smart. It sounds safe. Financial advisors have been teaching it for decades. But here's what almost nobody tells you: that bucket strategy doesn't actually guarantee you anything. It just changes the order in which your money is exposed to risk. Today, I'm going to show you the difference between that traditional approach, what I call market buckets, and a completely different way of organizing your money called income buckets. One of these can run dry, the other one can't. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you're using and which one you actually want. Let's get into it. So let's start with the bucket strategy most people are familiar with. I call this the market bucket approach because every bucket, no matter what's in it, is still tied to the market. Here's how it typically works. Bucket 1 holds cash or cash equivalents, usually enough to cover 1 to 2 years of living expenses. Bucket 2 holds more conservative investments, like bonds, meant to cover years 3 through 7. And bucket 3 holds your growth investments, stocks, for the long haul, years 8 and beyond. The idea is simple. If the market drops, you don't have to sell your stocks at a loss. You just live off bucket 1, your cash, while you wait for the market to recover. Once it does, you sell some growth assets, refill your buckets, and keep going. It's a popular strategy for good reason. It's visual. It's easy to explain. And it does address one real problem in retirement, which is selling investments at the worst possible time. But there's a catch, and it's a big one. Here's what most people don't realize about the market bucket strategy. Every single bucket is still exposed to the market. You haven't eliminated risk. You've just delayed it. Think about it this way. Bucket 1, your cash, is going to run out. That's the point of it. You're spending it down on purpose. But when it runs dry, where does the refill come from? It comes from bucket 2 or bucket 3. And if the market happens to be down at that exact moment, you're now forced to sell at a loss anyway. You've just postponed the problem by a year or two. This is what's known as sequence of returns risk. And it doesn't go away with a bucket strategy. It just gets pushed down the road. If we hit a multi-year downturn or a slow growth decade like we saw in the 2000s, all three of your buckets can erode faster than you planned because all three buckets ultimately depend on the same thing: market performance. So here's the better way to think about the market bucket strategy. It's not a strategy that guarantees you income. It's a strategy that manages the order in which you sell your investments. That's a meaningful difference. And it's one that catches a lot of retirees off guard during a bad market stretch. So, if market buckets only manage the order of risk, what would it look like to remove that risk from your essential expenses altogether? That's where income buckets come in. An income bucket strategy starts from a completely different question. Instead of asking, "When will I need this money?" it asks, "What job does this money need to do?" Here's how that breaks down. Bucket 1 is your guaranteed income. This includes Social Security, any pension you may have, and often a fixed indexed annuity with an income rider. This bucket has one job: cover your essential expenses: housing, food, utilities, insurance, for the rest of your life, no matter what the market does. It cannot run out. Bucket 2 is liquidity. This is your cash and short-term reserves, there to cover emergencies, irregular expenses, and discretionary spending you want easy access to. Bucket 3 is growth. This is your market-based investments, the money that's there for legacy planning, keeping pace with inflation, and funding the discretionary lifestyle spending you'd like to have down the road. Notice the difference. In this model, your essential expenses are never tied to how the market performs. They're matched to a guaranteed income source. Your growth money is free to actually act like growth money because you're not relying on it to keep the lights on. Let's compare these so the difference is crystal clear. Market buckets organize your money by time. Income buckets organize your money by function. Market buckets manage the order in which you withdraw money. Income buckets guarantee an outcome for your essential expenses. And maybe most importantly, a market bucket can run dry if the market underperforms long enough. The guaranteed income bucket in an income bucket strategy is structured so that it can't. This is exactly where a fixed index annuity with an income rider tends to fit. It's built specifically to serve as a guaranteed income bucket. Your principal is protected from market downturns, and you receive a lifetime income stream that isn't dependent on getting your withdrawal timing right. This distinction matters most in what I call the retirement red zone, the 5 years before and after you retire. This is when a bad sequence of returns does the most damage because you're not adding new money to your accounts anymore. You're taking it out. When your essential expenses are covered with guaranteed income, a market downturn becomes an inconvenience instead of a crisis. You can let your growth bucket recover on its own timeline because your lifestyle was never depending on it in the first place. This isn't about avoiding the market altogether. It's about making sure the market's ups and downs aren't the deciding factor in whether you can pay your bills. If you're not sure which bucket strategy your current plan is actually using, take a look at the free booklet called Retire Smart. It's linked on the page in the description box. If this video helped you see your retirement plan a little differently, please subscribe. It helps us reach more people that need this information. I'm Shonda Prescott, and this is Retirement Security Simplified, where we specialize in turning confusion into confidence, one conversation at a time.